The script which we wrote was making a lot of sense to people.
As I told you, this script didn't leave me.
Yeah.
This film will not leave you once you watch it. You know, it really makes you question so many things about your existence as a human being.
I don't know if you look at your choices as risks, but in the larger scheme, when you choose an Affa, a Bheed, a Sonchiriya, a Bhakshak,
The legacy I want to leave behind has to be not just my films, everything that I do in my life. It has to be a life that people refer to that, okay, in her time, she used everything in her power to make a change. This is me in real life. Bhakshak is what I do in film. And people need to accept me for who I am.
Hi Bhumi, hi Pulkit, welcome to Midday.
Thank you.
And I have to say this, it's such a fantastic start for me as a woman, as a viewer for this year, to have a film like this coming up. And I think when I was thinking about Bhakshak, when I watched the trailer, the teaser, one thing which kept, crossing my mind was that how you have always chosen and tried to, choose subjects which have extreme social relevance. And your choices as an actor are not just you to have this kind of exploration as a performer, but also to influence, to get some change out there through your work. So massive congratulations to
Thank you so much.
For always headlining these
Thank
sort
you
of
so
films which need stars backing. But I think I'll start with the director.
Yes.
I think the one who came on
Yes.
board, of course, maybe before the star came.
It's his child. This is
Yeah.
his story. He's written it along with his wonderful wife and partner, Jyotsna.
Wow.
And please.
So Pulkit, tell me, how did the journey begin on this film? Was it a story that, you couldn't just not, take out of your mind, and you knew that this is what will eventually be your first?
When we started researching about the subject, we wanted to tell a story. Before finding the story, we were trying to find a story which has some social relevance. But we landed upon this child molestation and the shelter homes across the country going through a lot of things. And when we started researching about that, we started, having sleepless nights, talking about those kids, suffering of those kids, because there are cases in country where, सिगरेट से जला दिया बच्चे को या कुछ तो ये सोच कर भी आपको रात को नींद नहीं आती. You get very anxious about all those things, very angry about all those things. So when we started the journey, it started with aggression. That I really want to go ahead and tell this because someone has to make this film right. Someone has to tell this story right, because there was this urgency to tell this one. So that's how it started.
Right. How much time did you take to kind of write it?
I think we spent around 3.5 months or 4 months to write it with research.
Right. But
First draft.
But I'm assuming this is not it's a story which won't find backers immediately, right? Because people would be like, oh, who will watch this? Do we need this? Do we need serious right now? Especially the kind of conversations we have had after COVID. It's like, do we want to watch only light stuff? But I think, a story like this will always be important, sadly. But to have Red Chillies then back you, now that's one of the biggest production houses in the country doing that. How was that journey difficult to find the right producer?
No, the journey was just to write the script. I think the script which we wrote was making a lot of sense to people. That was doing its job, because as a writers, our job was to write something on the paper which can, which make you feel emotionally about that subject. And I think that we did right. And after reading that, I think, I am sure that Red Chillies was the first production which read the script and they said, we are doing it.
Wow. Bhumi, your journey with the film, how did that start?
This film came to me in the lockdown. And I read it and I loved it. But for whatever reason, it didn't work out at that point. But from that point till I actually came onto the film, I remember I reread it. I was in the mountains. I reread it. There wasn't a day when this film didn't haunt me. I'm speaking of a good 6 months.
Wow.
I kept feeling guilty and I was like, no. I said no, and genuinely it was a lot of guilt driven. There was anger and I was like, this is it. And I kind of reached back to him. I was like, I hope you've not cast for the film yet. And he's like, yeah. And I said, please, I want to be a part of it. And I was so fortunate that this happened, and I just don't know. And I had a similar journey as Pulkit sir, because as I told you, the script didn't leave me.
Yeah.
And this film will not leave you once you watch it. It really makes you question so many things about your existence as a human being, about your conscience, about how we all have become so non-empathetic, how we've forgotten how to hurt for somebody else, how we've, forgotten how to, we've just become so robotic with our morals and our emotions. It's become a life of convenience, and this film questions everything. And the sad part is that it's inspired from various true events. All these events are available on public platforms. You can go, you can Google it, and you'll see it. And it's just so heartbreaking that there are little children, from all genders, that, and as little as 3,
4,
that are living a life like this. It's unheard of. And the thing is that I had not come across, while we were researching the film, I was so shaken. Like, when he shared everything with me when I started my research, I was so shocked. There was so much that I could not read. I was like, I can't do it. I said, I couldn't read it, but there are little children that have lived it.
Yeah.
And the
they
beauty,
don't know how to tag it, that what was happening with us.
Yeah, they don't know. The act of the heinous, disgusting act, because I feel sexual offenses on children is the lowest of low that a society can get at.
Yeah.
It is उससे ज़्यादा नीच कोई, मतलब कोई उससे ज़्यादा गंदगी कोई है नहीं, right? So this film kind of comments on the dirt that the society has become, and we all are a part of it. The degrees might be less, but we all are a part of it. The reason the film also stayed with me was because his approach to make this film was such that makes it universal. He's like, because I would keep questioning him. I said, I want to go more into the shelter home. For example, he's like, no, then it won't be watchable. He was like, I want the story to reach people, because I genuinely see that if we make a good film, and he's so generous. He's like, if I do my job well, and he's done it so tremendously, this film will really start a conversation. And all he's wanted was that. I think all of us wanted as creators and co-creators was that. And I'm telling you, we finished this film in 39 days.
Wow.
Okay, it is a very heavy performance film, because I promise you, everybody, from somebody who could have been very disconnected from the film to up top, was so invested emotionally. And I have been a part of films like this in the past, and I've seen that those films have lived on forever. This is that film. I know it in my gut.
That's so beautiful. But what used to be your conversations with each other about the way you had to perform your character, to get into the skin? I mean, beyond the initial, of course, this feeling, this overwhelming feeling of, getting into this story, which is so disturbing. When it came to your craft as an actor, what would you tell her that this is something you wanted from her, and what did you understand of this woman that you were playing?
See, Bhumi was my first choice for the film when I wrote the film, and I remember we narrated her on Zoom call.
Yeah.
And because after watching her perform in so many good films, good roles, good characters, what I felt was that Bhumi is one of those actors who can understand outer doing and inner doing, and she can differentiate between two. I feel very blessed to have her on the film, because when an actor is on the set and he or she is not concerned about the camera angles, the way I'm looking, the way I'm going to talk, but is concerned about the inner doings, कि dialogue मेरे नहीं भी है तो मेरे अंदर क्या चल रहा होगा, what is going through me, what phase I am in, what क्या कर रही होंगी मैं, क्या सोच रही होंगी मैं. आई विश भूमि कभी इंस्टाग्राम पे अपने शेयर करे अपने स्क्रिप्ट के नोट्स. भूमि की स्क्रिप्ट इतनी मोटी थी और जितना डिटेल में भूमि ने काम किया था ना इनर वर्ल्ड एंड आउटर वर्ल्ड पे, वो इतना मजेदार था एक डायरेक्टर के लिए. किसी भी फिल्म मेकर की ट्रीट हो जाएगा कि आप वो कहते हो ना कि आप जाओ मंदिर में और कुछ मांगो और भगवान आपको जरूरत से ज्यादा दे दे, तो वो वाले एक्टर है ये लोग कि आपने कुछ मांगा कि यार ये करते हैं और इन्होंने जरूरत से ज्यादा परफॉर्म किया. तो ये भूमि के साथ काम करके ये एक्सपीरियंस था. और सिर्फ भूमि नहीं, इस फिल्म के सारे एक्टर्स
एक्टर्स हैं लेकिन.
और भूमि को भी पता था कि ये फिल्म जो है वो परफॉर्मेंस बेस्ड है, ये है वो है. खुद भूमि को ये भी पता है भूमि लीड है फिल्म की, बट कभी भी भूमि ने किसी भी सीन में ना खाने की कोशिश नहीं किसी को कि मैं परफॉर्म करके दिखाती हूँ, मैं परफॉर्म कैसे करती हूँ. लोगों ने सीन बनाए हैं, एक एक सीन के एक्टर्स ने छोटे छोटे रोल्स में लोगों ने सीन बनाए हैं आकर. तो जब आप कॉम्प्लीमेंट करते हो एक दूसरे को तो फिल्म अपने आप ऑनेस्ट ईमानदार बनती है.
You know, this is where the craft of a director also comes in. When I watched the film, right, and I was like, जो एक scene के actors हैं, what performance they've given, they stay back with you. When does this happen?
Yeah.
Because the concept of cinema is dying. You know what? The concept of art is diminishing, and
True.
And genuinely, we are not saying this because, we are sitting and having this interview with you. There genuinely is so much love and appreciation for each other. So much love for Jyotsna, who's a co-writer, for Santa, who's the DOP, for my co-actors. Because having Sanjay Ji as a co-actor was a boon for me. I genuinely think this is one of my most mature performances. This is that one film that I felt a switch in myself as an actor last in Sonchiriya, where I felt I've grown as an actor.
Yeah.
Something went. I found something new and that happens with every few films, but you have to be very lucky to find that film. And this film did that for me. And the reason was because he gave us a playground. Like, I remember I would tell him, sir, so he worked a lot on the dialect with me because he's from the milieu, which is such a relief, but everything he said, Bhumi, aap kar loge, aapko pata hai. Because as actor, and he just showed so much faith, and the prep was so intense, and the script was so complete. It was just like, it doesn't happen often. When you get a director whose vision is so clear, and he has his tricks of getting you to reach there, and I don't know how it happens. While the environment is so good, I've never felt this. I don't know if I'll ever feel this again, where I could go tell a director in a busy day on a smaller film, this is not one of your massive
scale
film, and it's not like this film was specifically made for a certain a platform of viewing, right? So we have we have a lot of constraints that I could go tell somebody I need 3 hours to prepare for a scene. You take it.
Wow.
No questions asked.
Wow.
There were days when I walked onto a set and I can see people are behaving differently because he made sure that the zone that I'm in is respected. It does not happen. There are very few filmmakers that are sensitive enough, and not just for me, not that because I was the lead, I was कि नहीं आज एक थोड़ा intense scene है तो ये माहौल. Even for somebody who had one scene there, thing was created because he treats his actors with so much love. Everyone anyways.
No, but Bhumi, what I really find interesting about your career is that I don't know if you look at your choices as risks, but in the larger scheme, when you choose an Affa, a Bheed, a Sonchiriya, a Bhakshak, from the outside it feels that these are risks for a female star. A star who has perhaps numbers weighing her down, or a star who also has a box office to look at. But you are always at it. And I think you are creating this stellar filmography for yourself, which I think actresses who will come after you will look back and say, oh, we have, these performances which we can be inspired by.
Oh, thank you so much.
But do you really look at, how do you view these very gritty stories and these characters as an actor?
I think I find a lot of solace doing them. It is my way of feeling like I tried. Also, my art is kind of my way of giving back. And the legacy I want to leave behind has to be not just my films, everything that I do in my life. It has to be a life that people refer to that, okay, in her time, she used everything in her power to make a change. And I'm genuinely that person even before I became an actor. You know, like I was.
It's easy to be this person in an industry.
It's easy for me.
Achha.
I don't know if it's easy for somebody who does not believe in it. I genuinely, so if I don't have this, I think that would make me very uncomfortable and uneasy. So when a film like Bhakshak comes my way, I feel like, acha, मैं 10 साल और तो acting कर रही हूँ. I don't know. We all have our own insecurities, right? I'm like, I'm here. I might not feel that with a commercial pot boiler because I feel like that space is such that I don't know how to explain it. Any other person can do that. Nobody else can do this. So I'm not letting this go. I hold it very close to my heart.
People tell you, यार वो mainstream looking films कर लो.
देखो मैं वो भी करती हूँ. If you see my last release,
thank you for
you
coming.
know, it was that. So I enjoy that as much. But what deeply moves me is this. What I enjoy, what makes me a happy actor is this. That is fun. I love it. You know, I love doing a Pati Patni Aur Wo. I love doing a Govinda Naam Mera. I love those films. But I do those films so I can also do a Bhakshak, for example. You know, so it's a mixed bag.
But then there's no strategy for the stardom that you have.
I don't know. I don't strategize. I've never strategized. I started with Dum Laga Ke Haisha, right? If I would have strategized, that film would not have happened to me. You know, so I feel I'm a product of unconventional choices in life and in my filmography, and I think that's the only thing that's worked for me.
But then lastly, one thing I felt, you know, when you talk about Dum Laga Ke Aisha, I think you are one of those actors with whom the conversations around women, about feminism, about body image is also so intrinsic because of the first film that you had.
Absolutely.
Right? And also I felt that you also had your own journey with, you know, physical transformation from how you looked during Dum Laga Ke Aisha to how you look today.
Absolutely.
But what I also feel sometimes is how people look at this change in you. Some people think that this is how you want it to look, so today you're looking like that. Some think that maybe it is the industry pressure on a female star to look a certain way, which is pushing her to be how you look today.
Right.
How does Bhumi Pednekar react to that? Like, do you think this is in your agency that you want to look like this? Or do you find that it's
choice? No. See the films that I do, you think I'm servicing any stereotype of a conventional actor. This is me in real life. Bhakshak is what I do in films. And people need to accept me for who I am. I've lived being somebody else a large part of my career, but that's not me. And post the pandemic, I realized that I need to be my most authentic self. And my choices in my films have also changed post that. I'm not servicing an image. This is who I am. I love fashion. I love glamour. I love beauty. Bhumi loves it. Does that mean that I don't care about bringing about a change? No. I am going to keep fighting for my rights, for any kind, in any way that I can lend support to any marginalized community or gender. So just because I like dressing a certain way does not make me any lesser of a voice.
And that doesn't mean that it's coming from an industry pressure.
No,
it is coming from
I swear I'm so lucky. I've never been told, at least for the films that I'm working, that you need to lose weight. This has not been a conversation with any of my filmmakers.
That itself is such a great thing. Yeah, but thank you. I have to say this. Thank you on a thank you note that I absolutely love. Thank you for coming.
Okay.
And I felt that it was as much a feminist film as any other film that you do, which falls into a very serious sort of space. And
I feel that too. Thank you so much.
Feminism doesn't have to have, doesn't have these layers. It just needs to be there.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.